PLSX. So go to the weekly time frame, and it's very simple to draw a wedge from the top of literally the top of PLSX down to the bottom. We're breaking out of that wedge on the weekly time frame. That is bullish. The absolute peak of PLSX was 1.5 years ago. It's just one big wedge, and it's finally breaking out of the top. It always hits the top of that wedge and gets rejected. And right now, we're breaking it. So it has to confirm. It has to come back down, hit the top of the wedge, and bounce and continue up. But that move up will take us to sack rate and beyond if this is a real breakout. So it's very interesting. Very, very interesting.
I mean, bros, you know what's crazy? Richard's last tweet made me go and do 50 press ups. I'm just gonna read it. Let me read it. I know everyone's read it most probably 1,000 times, but let me just read it. Bro, I don't think people comprehend the tweet the way I've comprehended it. And no, there's no secret messages, guys, in this tweet, in my opinion. It's a straight and forward message. So, crypto, what are you gonna do when the mass marketing starts ripping faces off? People are going to hear about Pulsechain, Pulsex, and Hex, and pump tires directly before they hear about anything else. They're going to hold something in their hands that works great and is impressive. Something that they're not going to throw away. Hex did a 10,000x in the price the first time while being murdered with deca millions in fees on ETH. Now Pulse Chain exists. When PLS goes up, Hex goes up. PLS, PLSX, Hex, pump tires, they all reinforce each other. Coin burning everywhere you look. It's amazing. Dry powder ready to explode. Let me read that one bit again. Dry powder ready to explode. The weak hands shaken out violently. Amazing designs and reliability with years of track record. The match is nearly struck. Let me repeat that one more time. The match is nearly struck. Be ready for greatness. And haters, like Iceman, you mind as well get your memes ready because you are going to be very butthurt.
4-5 on PLS, crazy.
PLS doing crazy, Ink's doing nice. Had a nice run up today to 224, I think. You had the Pulsex is just literally flying right now.
Mooney.
Bros, when E-Hex runs, the ratio between E-Hex and P-Hex will always drop drastically, right? So to me, it was a thing of rotating E-Hex into P-Hex as well, at that 293. If you got it higher, then GG is even better, because that's just how it is. And you have to always look, like people look at, day count charts and think, okay, it looks bullish, but you need to zoom out and look at a month chart or a weekly chart, and you will see the bigger picture sometimes. But yeah, I think E-Hex will have its turn, definitely, but E-Hex will have to pump after P-Hex does extraordinary, amazing gains, and then the speculators who faded P-Hex will buy E-Hex, right? And you will start seeing that FOMO because people will know it's still a Richard Hart product, right? And people will, oh, great, I need to buy. I think even now, Hex is way too cheap.
Yeah, of course. I just mean like that's at that point.
Yeah, of course.
So it's not even Richard buying Hex right now. It's literally just the market buying it. So it's even more bullish.
Really done a 3x in 13 days.
Yeah,
E-Hex, yeah, P-Hex did. Yeah. E-Hex
Yeah,
is
it's so cheap.
lagging. We like that because this is very reminiscent of what happened in the fall. P-Hex took
God.
off first, then everything else kind of followed. E-Hex was like lagging back.
No, but bro, this is where you're wrong.
Stop.
Let me tell you why you're wrong, brother. Right? Because the only reason why you're looking at the ratio of E-Hex going up versus P-Hex, and the only reason that ratio goes up, as you can see, when Hex went to 3 cent, you can see the big red dildo, and it went back to a 10-to-1 ratio. And the only reason why it started recovering off that 10-to-1 ratio was because P-Hex was dropping. It's like
It's like some of it was getting sold. Like P-Hex was getting sold off and E-Hex was being actively pumped, like somebody was buying E-Hex.
No,
Yeah,
they weren't, bro.
Dude,
no,
something
no,
happened. Look, I'm just saying, bro. There was a couple days there in November, December,
no. You're
where
maybe
all
you're
of a
right.
sudden
Maybe you're right. But I'm talking in
something happened,
general
and he
Maria was
aspect.
snapped.
accumulating E-Hex with his garbage illiquid coins, and and Coach was buying E-Hex. Like there was people buying it, bro. But
Yeah, but
it's
dude, it
not
didn't.
like
That
Richard was
that
sitting there
was that
floating.
was the type of snap movement that like was shocking and throwing me back to
Hey,
21.
Alta,
It was
ooh,
like very, very
1.3 cents on
aggressive,
Hex.
very aggressive. I hadn't seen that kind of overnight movement in a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah. You understand that also. So look, number one, that's
All I'm saying is,
speculators.
why did that happen? That's all I'm saying. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
speculators, number one. And number two, because where the hex, it looks better on the chart because P hex is dropping drastically, right?
Right.
And when P hex is dropping, the ratios, like we see it earlier on today or yesterday, the ratio started climbing like I think 5% up again. And the only reason it done that was because P hex dropped, right? And you always see that kind of movement in regards to it. But now I want you to do me something, Keith. I want you to do me a favor, brother. Go look at the E-Hex versus P-Hex on a monthly and tell me what you think.
The thing
Let
about
me
it is
see.
Richard's marketing campaign does not involve E-Hex. So it's just like it's gonna be a coin that we know as the OG coin, but I don't think it's gonna be the coin that like
The
he's gonna
newcomers
sit
will
there and
know,
try to
bro.
market to the new people, bro.
Bro,
Like
I
Yeah,
we are
mean,
gonna know it. It's like ETH Classic, bro. Like no
but
one
dude,
gives a
here's
crap
my
about ETH
counter
Classic,
argument.
but
Here's my counter
OGs
argument.
do.
It's like, bro, P hex goes to $1, E hex will be 85 cents.
Okay,
80
but that
cents.
bro, you can do that with like a trillion different coins
no,
that are
no,
on this
no, no,
chain
no.
right
If
now.
P-Hex goes to $1, bro, E-Hex will go to, I'd say 10 cent. Maybe,
I don't
maybe
think they're
20
that
cent.
far off.
It's gonna get far off, bro. When people start injecting massive money into PX, the ratios are gonna like the USD is gonna go crazy. The ratios are gonna start to really spread apart. Like when real buys come in, that's what we haven't really seen much of. It's like
Like
real
this is
Well,
buys.
that's what I'm saying. In
what
order to
Almighty is
get
saying is spot
P-Hex,
on.
you have to go to Pulsechain first to then buy your
Okay, but
P-Hex.
look,
People
look,
are
look,
gonna
That's
Keith.
do that,
different.
Exactly.
brother. Pulse chain's the marketing
That's a
point.
different
Pulse
thing.
chain's the whole
Let me
show.
mic
I'm
drop you
talking
right
about
now.
whales. I'm not talking about the average
No, no, no,
Joe.
no. What you're saying is correct, bro, to a certain degree, but let me mic drop you quickly. Go on the hex.com website. Show me where it says E-Hex. Go on the pulsechain.com website. Show me where it shows E-Hex. Write E-Hex, write Hex into Dex Screener. Tell me where E-Hex is on that list. Write Hex into Dex Tools. Tell me where E-Hex is on that list. The only reason, in my opinion, E-Hex will pump, and it will pump, I'm not denying it won't pump, is due to speculators who missed the train on P-Hex.
It's the first thing they're gonna buy. If anyone that's coming new to this chain, they're gonna first buy E-Hex and they're gonna buy Wrap PLS. That's
That
That's not
unless
true at all,
unless
bro. People
unless
don't
there's
care
a
about
direct
EHEX, bro. Why do y'all
on.
think that the outside
You,
mind
you
considers
guys are
EHEX important?
forgetting we have like Liberty Swap now, so people can come straight from
Right.
Solana, from Base,
And they're not buying
Ethereum.
E-Hex,
They're
bro.
not buying E-Hex, guys.
No,
They're coming
they're
straight in.
buying Hex, Pulse, and
Yes.
Pulsex. Yeah, for sure.
New
Nah,
tickers,
they're coming in
meme
and buying
coins.
memes, bro, and sitting on PLS.
Yes, sir. That's
No,
very true.
it's bro. You know what it's like? It's like you see the PLS versus all the cores, right? Like people say, "Oh, PLS." We had this argument the other day, right? Because apparently PLS is going to outperform all the cores. But the only time, if you go look at them charts, and you look at the ratios, the only time that PLS outperforms the cores like Inc, Pulsex, Hex, the only time it outperforms is when it's on a downtrend and when it's dumping because it dumps the least compared to the rest. But when PLS is going up, the other tickers go up harder. It's the same thing with E-Hex, bro. E-Hex and P-Hex. Like I
Right.
said, Keith, just go look at the 1 month chart of E-Hex since P-Hex launched, and you'll understand what I'm talking about, bro.
Yeah, I guess it's like there's an interest in at this point now providing liquidity between both of them, and who gives a shit which way it goes? Because let's be honest, I mean, I'm not going to be as actively staking Hex. In fact, post OA movement earlier this year, I don't
Yeah,
see the
yeah.
benefit, right? But like at this point,
Be careful LPing, bro. You're gonna get wrecked doing that. Hardcore.
well, if I allocate a certain percentage of my E-Hex bag to intentionally go to P-Hex, great. You know what I
You're better off V3ing full EHEX positions and
mean? And
trying
just
to get into PHEX or vice versa. But like you're gonna get raped in a permanent loss. You're gonna see it go to 1 to 10 and you're gonna cope really hard. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm
No,
just being
bro,
honest.
but yeah, it was 9 to 1. It went to under 3.
I know that.
Yeah.
Like the thing about it is like I see is like ride P-Hex up and then buy
Well,
E-Hex
see, the
later
thing is,
if
it
you feel
was
nostalgic from being rich off of Hex again,
right.
right? I think that's what's gonna happen. It's not gonna be like the market chooses E-Hex for a couple months. No, it's just gonna be people that have just made money on P-Hex and they toss a clip in because they can take, they can buy 100 million E-Hex for nothing,
Yeah, exactly. That's literally what even someone like me and other people that are on the space that are literally been looking at. And when that ratio gets to a certain degree, of course, we're gonna buy a bag of E-Hex, right? And speculators are gonna pump it, right? But that's just down to ratio trading, in my opinion, and nothing else, right? Like, name me a tweet where you see, like, Richard Hart doesn't talk about E-Hex no more, in my opinion, personally, right? The whole advertising campaign, the marketing push, we all know what it's gonna be. It's gonna be P-Hex, Pulsex, Pulse, and Pump Tires, right? The whole image here is to get people on Pulse chain. That's literally the whole image of everything. Richard Hart's whole vision is to get users on Pulse chain.
And what does that, KR, bro? What gets users on another chain from a chain that they're currently on?
Their chains good, their charts looking green, and their charts looking amazing, right?
And a
How did
goddamn
Solana
good
get the
meme.
adoption?
There
How
you
did
go. That's what I was
Solana
looking
get the
for,
adoption,
baby.
bro?
Some
How did
good
Solana
memes,
go from
man.
$6, bro? Memes. I agree. Look, how did
Well, listen,
Solana?
it's not necessarily. It's just X's, bro. Coins doing massive
Yeah,
X's,
yeah, yeah.
bro.
But bro, when
Meme coins
Solana
do
was
that.
$6, nobody was talking about it. Everyone was saying it's a scam VC chain. There's not going to be no money coming in. As soon as Solana hit $100, that's when you started seeing FOMO. That's when Bonk launched, right? And Bonk was the first meme coin on Solana to do insane gains, right? You had the actually I'm lying up. I'm Dog with Hat as well. I think Dog with Hat. You had other coins, but I think Bonk was the first Mooner on Solana. Um, and like, it was the memes that brought people over for sure, but also the price of Solana going up I'd say is a big factor in it as well.
Oh, and the VCs had massive marketing
Yeah,
money that they shoved down people's throats. So that's where you got all the normies in.
Can I just add one little thing to this conversation?
Oh
yeah,
my,
sure, of course you can.
sure.
I would always like to point to the fact that Mr. Richard Hart started with Hex, and it seems to be booming on Pulsechain, and it is his baby. And if that ever didn't work out, then this whole system is fucked, because he knows that that is the best crypto in the world, better than Bitcoin. And so I would pay very much attention to the fact that Hex is his baby.
And you know what I was going to add to that, bro? Right? Now let's think of it like this. P-Hex is E-Hex, guys. Every single person who was holding E-Hex, right, who believed in Richard Hart, got a one-to-one copy of P-Hex for free and still holding their E-Hex as well. When the bridge opened between E-Hex and P-Hex on day 3, right, there was a 10% price difference between E-Hex and P-Hex, right? And we got to understand, in my opinion personally, now this is just an opinion, this is a food for thought. I'm not saying this will happen, but if P-Hex went to $1.10, I think the top of E-Hex was 55 cents. Richard Hart is not going to say my ticker done 100x or a 200x. He's going to brag a 20,000x because technically he done a 20,000x.
I think my point is Hex can't fail, period, unless the whole chain is going to only survive and do well if Hex is doing great.
I don't think that's true, but sure. It's just a coin on a blockchain, brother.
Richard
Yeah,
So
Hart,
facts,
sure.
bro.
Richard Hart is Hex.
Okay. And
Remember,
Richard
there's this
Hart's
thing
now Pulse
called
Chain.
sell pressure, right? It depends if if everybody keeps dumping on Richard Hart on Hex, it's not gonna
Never.
move, right?
Never. Okay.
No,
Ever?
people
What do you
dump,
mean,
bro.
bro?
There's
It
there's
already
some
happened.
people dump every coin, in my opinion, right? You got to understand there was a $2 billion in sacrifice in total, right? You got to understand it takes time. Everyone who thought that Hex Pulse Chain was just gonna moon instantly, I'm sorry, but you was wrong, right? Even me, I did think that at first as well. I sent a screenshot to my friends the other day of what my bags looked like in the beginning of the chain and what I thought it was gonna do when we was at all time highs, the first all time highs. I thought 100x is coming. You know, I thought
Man.
it's crazy. It's times. I'm not saying I'm perfect. You know, I genuinely did think, and I round tripped
Hey,
and I held my
Tron
bags.
did 100x in 3 months, bro. I thought we could beat Tron.
I mean, look at Ada, bro. Ada's a dead chain, and that Ada done 100x in last cycle, right? So, like, I'm
Yeah.
thinking, yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. You know, I still think like bullish scenario 100x is possible, for sure, right? It all depends on what comes through. Are we gonna get centralized exchange listings? Remember as well, Richard always said recently, it's all about updating your worldview. Hence why he launched 20 meme coins for
Yes,
people
sir.
to speculate, right? And every single one of these 20 meme coins has a narrative in itself
We're
without
gonna
you even
get
knowing about it.
a Kraken listing. It's gonna be
Ooh,
the
that would
first
be
one.
juicy, bro.
That's the one that he likes. He's literally posted where he's like, I like Kraken the best because the founders bet the best and it's a safe US like exchange. So
It's like, damn, we're gonna get the most wanted pump in the world. I think good times are definitely gonna.
August. I'm ready for August, bro.
Yet again, just going to remind you that Richard Hart believes more in Hex than
Dude.
anything else.
Okay, but Hexbug, let me tell you something, brother.
Hex can't bring adoption like Pulsechain,
Exactly.
man.
Listen. Let me tell you something, right? Hex is gonna do amazing, right? And I'm not doubting you on that for 1 second at all. But you need to understand there's a whole chain here, right? And the whole goal for Richard Hart is to get users on this chain, for people to use his chain, right? And
Agreed.
Hex is just 30%, not even the 30% of this chain. You gotta understand it's all about updating your worldview. Why did Richard Hart launch 20 meme coins? Why did Richard Hart launch Pump.tires?
I need Hexbug to watch his tone, bro. We all know what Hex is, bro.
No. I'm
We're
bullish
all
on
here,
Hex
man.
right
We're
now,
all
bro.
part of the same
I will say
ecosystem.
it straight to anyone's face. Hex is the most undervalued core coin against all the rest of the cores, without a doubt. I'd say it straight up. And I don't care what anyone says. But long-term vision, you gotta understand that every single core coin plays its part. Ink is gonna play its part. Everyone's fading Ink. I guarantee Ink's gonna have a part to play. Where do you think the
Bro.
liquidity is gonna come
Just
from?
chill, just chill, bro.
Pulsex has got his
Chill.
part to play. PLS has got his part to play. The
Hey,
meme
listen.
coins that Richard Hart launched are going to have their part to play.
100% correct. But after that calculation, while things are pumping, you also have to check the diameter of your left and right testicle.
Yeah, they're hanging strong.
Okay, good.
Why
Just
did
making
Richard
sure.
Hart make Pulse Chain?
Head strong, ball
Why
strong.
did Richard Hart make Pulse Chain? Was it not for Hex? Was it not for
It
the
listen,
fees?
listen. You want to know the real reason why Richard man? It's not for Hexpro, right? The real reason is because he got a bunch of ETH the first cycle, right? And he was able to giga send Hex, and he was like, "Damn, dude, if I could just have my own ETH, guess what I could do with it?" So he made his own ETH, and he has all the money, and he can literally do anything that he possibly wants to with it. That's why he made Pulsechain because he's a control freak and he has a lot of money and he wants to be legendary. So what do? You make your own blockchain, you steal Ethereum's gas, and then you just pump the crap out of Hex again. And all the Hexicans that believed in you then stop believing you. Then we'll have to re-believe in you. And then for then on, people just believe in you because they don't want to not they don't want to fade and cope again. People hate that. And it's gonna happen this cycle. And that's why he's great. GG's.
Pulse Chain was created because of the gas fees that people were paying on Ethereum.
I was gonna ask, roughly how much gas fees actually we lost, or well, not lost, but how much extortion people paid for gas fees.
Like $20 million or something.
Yeah. Okay.
It
Something
was insane,
stupid.
bro. It was insane. I remember paying for a transaction on ETH last cycle and spending over 700, $800
Sick.
just to sell a token, bro.
Sick.
Mm.
It was
Providing
kind
It's
of wild.
because
liquidity. Hey,
But it
listen,
was in the
providing
middle of a bull
his
market as
mic.
well, so coins were going up insane. So you don't really look at that when your coins up
yeah.
10, 15 grand and you're taking profits. Like, but it is true. Like the gas fees were horrendous.
How all the loudmouth crybabies that were calling for lower prices 2 weeks ago are really quiet, and we're up 3x.
Hey, in real life, bro, Jim Rat's a freaking brokey, bro. I met him in person, and he literally stopped crypto and went go be a carpenter, and came back realizing he was still poor, and then just complained. So like, I don't know why anyone gave him any clout. He literally got booted out of our ecosystem because Richard shit on him ultra hard.
Man, he was
So it's
asking
like
for handouts. He was pretended that someone robbed his account.
he
Your
said,
neighbor,
if we bust sack rate, I'll buy the dip at sack rate. So if you don't ever get a dip at sack rate, he's just gonna FOMO in after sack rate. So that's like majority of people's mindset
true,
probably.
GG's, man. GG's.
true.
Like that's funny.
Yeah, they're coping. It's a really dangerous position to be in because as the price rockets higher, right? Then they know they're like, well, if I jump in now and it even dips a little bit, then I'm going to feel like a total idiot that I missed the bottom and then I bought a local top. So then they've got even more reason to stay sidelined, and then that situation gets worse and worse and worse.
And the prices are all still at a discount. Anyone complaining about a 2x or a 3x up on these prices here, it's just laughable. It's jokes.
A question: what's the logic of Richard doing what he does, and all of us that are just in from the get go, theoretically, just making us a bunch of millionaires? Like, then what's the logic behind that?
We all win together. He wants to make an army
True.
of people, like-minded people that care for the people, that have a bigger that can always want to learn, that always want to keep growing and keep innovating, and that's it. It's power to the people, you know. Richard always looks after us. He always tells us when there's exploits. He always lets us know when there's. He has his self-help books. He has everything's insight on his life, on how to live your life, on everything. He wants us to see a world a better place. And to be honest, there's more good than bad in this earth. And like, thank God the cryptocurrency for now, that's given us this extra breathing ability to look forward and not be trapped into this life that these people are trying to run. So it's looking good, and fair play to him. He's created stuff that I'd never thought ever in my life to see. Fully decentralized. Obviously, people can come here with the technicals and be like, no, this, but he wants to make it. The way he wants to make it is perfection, and it's perfect now. Sky's the limit. Nothing stopping us. Let's go.
Yeah.
Amen.
He
God
gets a,
bless.
he gets a direct benefit from having heaps of people around the whole world believing that the reason that they are successful is because of his product. Like, you end up with basically an army of people who are effectively like, positive about your stuff, whether it's like direct promotion of it or just like, being willing to throw money at things. Like, look at what happened last cycle. Some mofos were so stoked that they got tattoos, bro. They signed up for life. Like, yeah.
It's only the start. Big things to happen. Big things, especially from this community. The biggest things are going to start happening. So let's keep going.
How nice has it been just like looking at the portfolio over the last few days and just watching it just go ape shit?
Amazing.
Like, finally waiting like 4 years for this shit. Like,
Yeah, man.
just
For me,
suffering.
Crazy.
for me, more than the price was Richard Hart's
A
post.
3x.
Richard
3x
Hart's
though.
post. Richard
Fellas.
Hart's post was
3x.
bigger than the 3x for me personally. That Richard Hart bull post that he's back, Big Richie's back in the building. That for me was bigger than the 3x personally, because I know that 3x is nothing compared to what we will see, hopefully, God willingly, in the next few months to come. Put your
Well,
seatbelts
the
on.
thing is, it's like I think I speak for many people when I say this. Is like we're still technically down a lot, but it's just nice to see that it's moving in the right direction, like with some steam. Because we've had a couple of little pumps in the past, but they didn't really have any substance behind them. But now we've got actual substance because Richard's back and he's doing this marketing thing and blah blah blah. So like, there's real substance behind all of it.
100.
It's not just some random speculation pump or anything. It's like a legit, like, whoa. And actually, one thing that came up just before I hopped in, that's the reason I have to speak, is someone said, imagine if I think it was Almighty said his friend is waiting for the sack price touch and then the pullback from that. But what if the pullback doesn't happen? And it made me think, like, damn, he's right, because there's obviously going to be a little pullback, but it might only be like 10%, 20%. And then it could just shoot straight through it and then 3x or something. And then what? Then all them guys on the sideline, what are they going to do? They're going to FOMO it. And that's the thing.
Traders get wrecked.
Pulsechain's pumping, but that's because people think Richard's about to start doing this like massive marketing thing, right? At some point in the next month or two, there's going to be a lot of direct mail going out.
I think is Hexy, in my opinion, is the fact that Richard Hart generally did prove that he was ahead of his time with one thing, and that was the ETH treasury, right? With the whole,
Yeah, that was
that there.
big. That
Now
was
look,
big.
think about it now, bro, right? Like, look at it now and think about how many major multi-billion-dollar companies are doing exactly the same thing what Richard Hart done 2 years ago. It's kind of crazy, right? Like, I think that's also like, people are starting to maybe get their confidence back in the whole.
No, you're absolutely right about that though, KR. Like the ETH reserve thing that's a big cheese. That's a big boy movement. What's done there?
Yeah,
That's huge.
it's
That's some
flex.
of the best advertising ever.
Yeah,
And
that's
people
the
are going to
best
look at that and be
marketing
like,
for
what's this
Coffeezilla, mate.
Pulsechain thing? Like, well, what's the Pulsechain sacrifice address? And then they'll look at it and they'll be like, oh, damn. Because the only people who are looking at that really are the big boys who've got money to invest. And
Yeah,
like, if we can prove, if Pulsechain, like, so on a day where Ethereum goes up, if Ethereum goes up 5% and we go up 12, then that's what's going to make people notice. Because one of the things that got me into Hex in the first place is that when Bitcoin went down 10%, Hex would go up 30%. That was the thing that got me back in the day when Hex was around 4, 5, 10 cents, whatever. Is like Hex would pump when Bitcoin went down. And that's what made it stand out. Like there was a way of making it stand out. But like likewise on this is like if Ethereum pumps by 7% and and Pulsechain goes up 15%, because Pulsechain's got a whole ecosystem around it. So like if Pulsechain goes up 15%, Solid X might go up 25%, 9inch might go up 25%, PTGC might go up 25%, whatever. That's good big money available, so like people are going to notice that over time, but it's only really the big boys, and the big boys are the ones that we want to attract anyway. It's the big boys that we need to attract, and having that on there is like, yeah, it's absolutely one of the best things ever, 100%. So yeah, you're right, Kale.
Local tops are fine in bull markets. Who cares?
I don't think
Local
so.
tops
I
are
don't think
good,
so,
man.
man. I don't think so. You don't want people to get their package. 400,000 people get delivered that thing. They Google it and it's down 30%. Like, nah,
Hey,
that's
Gotta
just
be flying, mate.
say
yeah.
something in
And
regards to
also,
this
you don't
situation.
want those guys getting a better price than the people who believed in him 4 years ago either. Think about that.
Exactly that. Number one, I was literally about to say that. Do you really, really think Richard ain't going to reward his loyal holders who've been holding this whole time, DCA and buying? Number one. Number two, always go against what the majority of people think. I said this countless times to people when people were thinking that we're gonna go lower, 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 lower. Bro, usually the markets will go the opposite way of what everyone thinks and surprise
I
every
agree with that
motherfucker.
categorically. It always does the opposite. Always does the opposite.
And then you've had the opportunity to buy like 70% discount and you didn't. That's on you,
100.
right?
Yeah,
So
but what if I know a lot of people that sacrificed Hex when it was at like 15 cents, 20 cents, something like that, maybe even higher.
they're still up.
And so even their Hex bags are down so much. And even if they've still got a job, they can't really put in the kind of numbers that they were doing before. It's not possible.
But if they
Yeah, no,
DCA,
not
they
everyone's in
could.
the same position. No,
They're
not
up on
everyone's
their
in the
shack,
same
though.
position, obviously. But there's a lot of people. Look, people had the opportunity 2 weeks ago to buy Hex at a 3x lower price than now.
That's true. That is true. Bro, I wasn't even looking at the Hex price, man. I haven't looked at the Hex price really for a long time. I'm only really looking at the Pulse and the Pulse X price. So that's why randomly I clicked on my portfolio today and I was like, oh, Hex jumped up quite a few positions.
I was screaming this ages. When you look at the ratios between Hex and all of the cores, including Ethereum as well, Hex technically is the only one that's actually fully bottomed out versus everything, right? Versus Pulsex. You go look at that Pulsex chart, where it got to when that seller was selling. It was literally the last time it got to that level, it went up 4x versus Pulsex. Last time it got up to the level where it was against PLS, it done a 65% dip. And when it done last time a 65% dip versus PLS, it pumped 360%, right? And now you're looking at it now, and bro, the Hex journey, in my opinion personally, right now is going to be the big mooner currently, just due to the way how down it was versus all the cores, even including Ink. When you look at it versus Ink, it was down. So yeah, I'd say Hex is still the most undervalued core coin, and that's why potentially it's getting so much bid side compared to the rest of the coins.
Can I give you the caveat to that, the argument against that, right? So my personal thoughts against Hex would be that like that's the one that people have the most of. We've still got a lot of whales with a lot of coins unlocking later and blah blah blah. Whereas Pulse and Pulse X were the new coins, so I always thought that Pulse and Pulse X would outperform it. Maybe I was wrong. My position is set in that way. I'm probably out of the Richard Hart coins that I've got, I'm probably like 60% Pulsex, 30%, no, probably 50% Pulsex, 30% Pulse, and then 20% Hex. That's been my kind of like, oh, I've got some ink as well, but let's not include that for the purposes of this discussion. Because my thought was is that like there's a lot of Hex coming out later, and there's a lot of guys that are going to
Yeah, I
dump that for
agree.
the new shiny object. Do you know
No,
what I
no,
mean?
I 100% agree with you, right? But we have to also understand that when Hex moves, it moves very volatile. And you go look, last time it went to a bottom, which I think was like 0.003, and it went to 3 cents within literally a month, right? So, like, all these big Hex stakers, I think there's big Hex stakes coming out in October, November, and then you obviously have next year as well, insane stakes. But all it takes is a month of green, right, to get Hex back above the rest of the coins potentially, or yeah, in regards to ratio. And then yeah, the chart will do what it does, right? But you know, the charts always go up and down, even when you're looking at the ratios versus the rest of the cores. There's always gonna be a bottom and there's always gonna be a top. Right. I'm not saying Hex is gonna outperform this whole cycle, but short term, I think Hex is going to outperform.
No, I get that. I get that. I mean, for me personally, I've always thought that Pulsex was going to be the best performer out of all of them. And I think even me and you, KR, we had discussions about this in the past. It's like, okay, there's going to be times where Pulse shines or Ink shines or Hex shines, but overall, it's probably going to be Pulsex that's the one out of those four that kills it
Oh yeah.
because of the buy and burn. And it's the only one that's like deflationary and blah, blah, blah.
I mean,
There's a
bro,
lot of reasons.
look at the Hex versus Pulse chart. I mean, the Pulse X versus Pulse chart, right? Like everything's
Yo,
been
it's killing it.
dumping,
It's
and
killing it.
it's been in its own bull market. I remember swapping 200 million PLS for a billion Pulse X, right? And now we're getting close to what we did hit it, right? When the SEC case was announced over, Richard Hart bridged in 1.4 million, 8 of Pulse X. And what happened? The ratio went to 1 to 1. And while the cause, everything was down, you still made a nice
Pulsex is
5x
moving.
on
Pulsex is
units.
moving.
Yeah.
I think at some point Pulsex is going to reach that critical mass moment where there isn't enough supply to cover what people are after. And then that's when Pulsex is going to moon. Now, when Pulsex moons, it's going to drag everything else up with it. I just thought if you're talking battle between all of them, it's the only one that's not inflationary. It's the only one that's got buy and burn. And there is a lot of buy and burn going on, by the way, all the time, every day, millions of dollars worth of buy and burn is happening constantly. So Pulsex in the long run, maybe it's not this cycle, but definitely next cycle, definitely the one after that, it's going to outperform. It's going to end up to the point where I think genuinely Pulsex will be worth $1 one day, genuinely, because by the time it hits that, people would have already sold out of their positions. People didn't believe that Hex could hit a penny because people had billions of Hex at one point. So they were like, oh, there's no way it's hitting $1. It hit $0.50. It hit $0.50. Sorry, could have held it. And they've got billions of Hex. Technically, on paper, they would have been worth $500 million from the billion Hex that they've got. And there was plenty of people that had that. But most of them sold out. But the thing that Hex had against everything else is that you could lock it up and you couldn't really access it without penalties and stuff like that. So that's what made me think that, Pulsex isn't going to go up that rapidly.
Understand, right? And this is another thing why I think people should be more bullish on Pulsechain, right? Because I think personally that one of the big reasons why BNB chain was so successful last cycle, I'm not saying it's the majority of the reason, but it's a big reason in my opinion. And everyone I know who was in crypto back then is because of the pancake token, right? The cake token and the fact that you could farm it, provide liquidity. There was, different incentivizations
You can
to.
make yield on your money and you
Exactly.
passively, and you have
And you
to.
would
That's
earn.
literally why we did 9-inch in BBC in the first place, because we know that like BNB did well, but Pancake Swap did so much better than BNB, so much better. And the amount of money that people made, even just disregard the cake gains, the money that people made over the course of that bull market was just like nuts compared to like what anyone made just holding BNB. So that's literally why we did
I
it.
think the reason why BNB chain got so successful last cycle, one of the reasons was because of Pancake Swap. So can we see potentially the same thing happen with Ink and Pulse X? We don't know what's cooking in the future. in regards to, is there going to be single-sided staking? Is there going to be more farms? Is there going to be meme coin farms? No one knows anything, right? But it's something that's, well, we can look forward to in the future, right? I
So
think,
real quick, I haven't dropped my position on that, by the way. I feel like that shit should already be available. It's a little disappointing that we don't have stuff like that available already, to be honest. But if he drops it at the right time, then it makes up for it. But one thing I wanted to throw out real quick is you all guys all know Andrew Tate, right? Everyone
yeah,
knows Andrew Tate now, most
Yeah.
Googled man on the planet, blah blah blah.
Who's he?
Do you know he made most of his money, most of the money he has in his crypto wallets? Because I know guys that have got his wallets. Most of the money he made was in PancakeSwap. Almost
interesting.
all the money he made nearly $1 billion in PancakeSwap.
And bro, bearing in
Wow.
mind,
Yeah.
BNB coin
Because he was early.
in the
He was
beginning of last
early and he
cycle, bro.
continued to do it.
In
So
the
he made a
beginning of
bunch.
last
He made a
cycle, bro, BNB was trading at less than $30 a coin.
Yeah, it's 700 now and it's on a dip.
It
Think
went
about
to
that.
800, bro. No, was it not
850.
800?
850.
850, bro.
Yeah.
I got most of my BNB at about 150 to $200. And it's 700 right now. Never sold any of it. Well, I sold a couple of little bits here and there, but nothing really. Less than 15% of my bag has been sold. I've still got loads of it. That's one of my top performers over this entire period that I've had. And that's why, like, it sucks really that Pulsechain's still down. But I'm hoping that it's like a balloon held underwater, and one day it's just going to pop up and just go mad. I'm really hoping, because most of my bag is in Pulsechain and Pulsex and everything like that. It's just like I'm just hoping that it does it, because also even Sonic / Phantom, that's up a good 2 and a bit X from where its low was. So it is hard being. Listen, here's the thing: any of you pulse chain guys out there that are listening right now, you need to know that you're a warrior to be able to hold it down and still be supporting after 4 or 5 years of absolute destruction, and still believe in this case. And now it's starting to come back, so we're feeling vindicated. Damn, I salute all of you. All of us are OGs now. Back in the day, we had the Hex OG guys where they've made loads of money, blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you, half of them are gone by now. We're the real OGs, the guys that held Pulsechain this entire way from Sacrafice all the way to here. We're the real OGs, 100%.
And people start rotating money out of the cause into into coins on the chain, right? You have smart people that will buy the bottom, and then you have the people that will stay in cause until the cause pump to a certain extent because they're not 100% with the momentum on the chain or whatever it is. Once they start rotating, that's when you start seeing, like, bro, every time PLS is pumped, majority when PLS tops out kind of thing, or is on the verge of topping out, that's when you start getting the alt season on Pulse Chain. That's when you're getting new launches doing hundreds of X's and they're going up for days on days, non-stop, every single day. Right? That's when the momentum really kicks. That's when it's kind of like a mini alt season on Pulse Chain, right? And I think obviously we're seeing pump tires going off right now. I think majority obviously because pumps pumping, because Richard Hart's mentioned pump.tires, so people are speculating. But wait till the cores get to a certain level and the sentiment of majority of the holders changes. That's when the real pump will happen with the altcoins.
beautiful answer. Thank you. That's what I wanted to trigger that.
Chain is down, right? In regards to USD value, what they sacrificed, or if they bought FOMO'd the top or FOMO'd even at launch price, they're down, right? And that's why I feel like personally, if you've done a centralized exchange listing closer to the bottom, you'll have a harder run up. But also, we have to take in consideration that I don't think we will get an exchange listing for a little while until the prices look good, because I don't think Richard wants people buying so low and so cheap. Like, I would say sacrifice
That's my
price.
point, KR. My point is that, like, I don't think it's a good idea to give new people who aren't committed and aren't loyal to the chain a better price than some people got when they were here 4 years ago. I don't think that's a good idea. That's my
Yeah,
point.
but Richard also said that no one cares about a green candle. Like if no one sees it, no one cares. It doesn't matter. So if you need people to see it,
That's
you put it on
that's
an
true.
exchange, so people on the exchange can see it. The exchange people who actually put it on that exchange are gonna be like, holy shit, this thing that I just got on this exchange did a 5x in a week. You know what I mean? So it's about getting eyeballs on
That's
it.
true, bro. But I agree with you 100%. But they're still going to have the same feeling if we launch a couple months from now and we're up like 3x from sack rate. They're going to have exactly the same feeling. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not like we have to do it now or it's now or never.
Sounds like you're
It's not
pushing
like that.
for.
We're on the right track. We're pumping as it is. We can continue to keep pumping a bit, get us all to a level of break even,
Wait.
break that
You think
top.
it will just come down to Richard Hart, bros, at the end of the day, right? Whatever happens, happens. I'm sure he has a plan and we got to trust his process, right? And that's what it comes down to at the end of the day.
Just real quick, KR. Richard has made absolutely outstandingly serious points about not being listed on exchanges and how he thinks that's better. I don't even
Then
agree
again,
with
though,
him on it, but I'm just saying if you're
yeah. Then
talking about
again,
what Richard thinks, like he's gone
Richard.
against it
No,
many
but
Richard
times.
also
also
said.
Richard, yes,
Richard
I agree with that, but Richard has also said to update your worldview, right? Like he's
and
been doing. So
and he
we
also said don't go near meme coins and then launch pump.tires.
exactly, but it's all about
That's true.
updating your, like he said in the video, it's all about updating your worldview. And I don't think anything that he's done has been stupid. I think everything has a plan. And we should just trust the plan and, keep shilling our bags, keep doing spaces, keep being active, doing what we can as a community